Hi, it's State Representative Jim Walsh here at the Capitol in Olympia for our regular legislative update. I want to talk for a minute today about public safety and crime. Lately here in Washington, a lot of people have discovered public safety is an issue that they care about. People who were not interested in crime and fighting crime in our state the last several years suddenly are interested in talking about crime and plans for improving public safety. Well, let's talk about what we can actually do to improve public safety here in Washington. Now, we've taken one major step. In the last legislative session here in Olympia, we passed Initiative 2113, which restores reasonable police pursuits of criminals and criminal suspects here in Washington. When I speak to law enforcement officials, to county prosecutors, to anyone involved in public safety issues here in the state, and I do that often as ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee here at the Capitol, they've told me that that pursuit piece was the single most important thing that Olympia could fix to help assure public safety in our communities. So we did that, and that's a good thing. Next to that, the issue we need to keep our eye on is the use and possession of illegal drugs here in Washington. There is a close link between the use and possession of illegal drugs and crime, both property crime and violent crime here in the state. Now, we have grappled with dealing with illegal drugs here in Olympia and tried to find good policy points, but largely we've fallen short on establishing in state law clear and strong guidelines for how we deal with people who are possessing and using illegal drugs. At current, we treat the possession of illegal drugs as a gross misdemeanor. Really, it's a gross misdemeanor that's treated more like a standard misdemeanor. And that's just not a strong enough public policy statement. It's my belief that we need to return the knowing possession of illegal drugs to felony status here in Washington. This middle ground that we've tried to negotiate only encourages illegal drug possession and use and actually makes crime a bigger problem. One of the reasons that we need to restore the knowing possession of illegal drugs to felony status is that county prosecutors, the local prosecutors around the state, have a hard time prosecuting misdemeanors. And it makes it easier for them to prioritize the enforcement of the law when we have crimes that are clearly defined as felonies in our state law. And of course, we don't want to make a felon of someone who's struggling with addiction to fentanyl or methamphetamine or heroin or other hard drugs. But we do want to give them a strong incentive to get off the junk, to get off the drugs, to get sober, to get straight. And that incentive is stronger if the potential penalty for use and possession of these kinds of drugs is a felony, not a misdemeanor. Talk to anyone you know who's in recovery, and they will tell you usually variations of the same story, that it took them finally getting to a point where they were facing jail time for their addiction as the result of bad actions they took while using that got them back on the path to sobriety and to a better life. In order to give our civil society the right guidelines for what we consider lawful and civil behavior, we have to make clarity in our law. And right now, when it comes to drugs like fentanyl and methamphetamine and heroin, we are not giving those clear signals to people who live in Washington. We need to restore that clarity and strength in our public policy. When we do that, I think we will have taken the next step toward assuring public safety and the ability to fight and deter crime in Washington. There's more to do and more to discuss, but I think that clarity in the law and restoring the knowing possession and use of drugs like fentanyl to felony status that will help us assure public safety. We've improved, we're on a better track. We need to keep that improvement in our law and policy going. That's it for this week. I'll talk to you again soon. In the meantime, stay strong and be well.